So this one completely slipped by me. DC have just released Superman Adventures Compendium Volume 2 with a ton of Superman Adventures comics in it, the DC Animated Universe tie-in books. This contains some of Mark Millar's earliest published superhero comics in America, and it's very much worth your time. Join me now as I take a quick look through it. Oof, look at that. Hefty book, made the whole thing shake. Yeah, this is nearly 1,000 pages of late 90s and possibly early 2000s Superman the Animated Series tie-in comics. This is Volume 2 of Superman Adventures, as I said. I'm going to just put it side by side with Volume 1 for a moment, and immediately, you might not be able to tell from there, maybe if I do that, I don't know. You can see that this is a little tiny bit bigger. More pages. I believe there's about... This one is about 940 odd pages. This one is about 980. You can also see this has got like glossy cover, attaches, which attracts fingerprints. This one is matte, but you can see that it's kind of scuffed and banged up a bit already, in a way that this one was not, which is a shame. I could possibly blame that on the Amazon delivery people, though, because they're not always gentle with your packages, especially when they are massive. Now, as for what this compendium contains, I can flip it over on the back. You can see all of the comics there. So it's primarily issues of Superman Adventures. Okay, so that's from 29 all the way through to the final issue of 66. But it also has... Let me just open it up here. It has backup material from Superman and Batman magazine, which only ran for, I think it was 8 issues. And it had some original comic material in it, drawn by Mike Parobeck most of the time, is it? Yeah, Mike Parobeck. Dan Jurgens wrote this one. There's a hero file there. This cover by my pals, Kevin Altieri and John Calmette. That's nice. But yeah, these were done before Superman the Animated Series started. It was when Batman the Animated Series was still on air, which is why it's got the BTAS Batman there. And the Superman had to match the Superman of the mainstream comics, or the mainline comics, I should say, which is why he has a mullet. But these are really nice extra bonus detail. Oh yeah, and telling you how to draw mullet Superman. I'm so pleased to have this. Now, I actually went out of my way last year to track down every issue of Superman and Batman magazine, and oddly enough, issue 7 was the hardest one to find. But I got all the others relatively easily. But now I've got like the whole thing in here, which is really quite wonderful. Is there any other? Yes, so that's the wraparound cover from number 1, and you can see DCAU-like versions of the then mainline universe heroes like Captain Marvel, Power Girl, Hawkman, Green Lantern with his grey hair, way before they appeared in Superman. But that's like the bonus material in this issue. This compendium, the first compendium. That bonus material, I believe, was the tie-in comic that came with the N64 game. Is this it? Yes, it is. The Superman Adventures. What is this called? I don't know. Special bonus issue. Superman, the New Adventures for the N64 game system in 1999 has never been reprinted prior to this collection. So that was your special treat in Volume 1, which I suppose is nice, and a couple of cover galleries. But I think the bonus material in Compendium 2 is far more meaty and worthwhile. There's even like an alternate story for the formation of the Justice League here, which obviously is now no longer canon because, you know, they had the Justice League formation in the Justice League cartoon. But anyway, thought I'd show you that anyway. So what's really noteworthy about this collection, other than, you know, the bonus material, which is cool, and this Alex Ross cover, the notable thing here is that it contains a lot of Mark Millar's early DC work. This was before, I think this might have been his first American comics job, writing Superman Adventures. And at the time, they were highly praised. It was often said that these stories were better than the mainline Superman stories at the time. And I felt the same way about Gotham Adventures and Batman and Robin Adventures, etc. But yeah, there's quite a few of them here. And if you don't know who Mark Millar is, he went on to work on The Authority, and then he did The Ultimates at Marvel. And The Ultimates, the aesthetic of The Ultimates and kind of like the philosophy of The Ultimates really informed the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But yeah, a lot of these stories, particularly the Mark Millar ones, they don't really contradict stuff that's in the show. So I view them as additive. There are also some issues of this series written by Evan Dorkin and Sarah Dyer, who were writers on Superman the Animated Series. And anyone that knows what my hard and fast rule about the tie-in comics, if anyone from the shows contributed material to the comics, then they count, no questions asked. Michael Reeves also wrote several of the issues in this collection. Now, Michael Reeves didn't work on Superman the Animated Series, but he did. He was a writer on Batman the Animated Series, so that's close enough in my eyes. And I guess a lot of people would know him from for writing Gargoyles as well. But really, I mean, I could just keep flipping through all of these pages, and you'd get a sense of what these comics are like. There is one issue in particular. I'm going to look on the back again just to remind myself what number it is. It's it was that one. Now, what number is that? The one before Mr. Miracle. I'll find it. There was a really cool issue in here. Oh, actually, let's go back and just go look at this issue. Right, so I need to make sure I get this right because I got the credits wrong on this in my crypto video, and it really upset Ty Templeton. So just to make sure I'm not upsetting Ty Templeton ever again, this issue was written by Ty Templeton with some suggestions by Dan Slott. And it's the issue where Mr. Mxyzptlk tries to get out of his punishment in the fifth dimension by making peace with Superman. And he thinks, what a nice gift if I go back to Krypton and get his childhood puppy Krypto and bring him to the present day for a while. Now, of course, that means that Krypto is a Kryptonian dog and he has superpowers and he's completely out of control. And he wrecks Metropolis. And they want to euthanize him. The police want to euthanize him as they would any wild dog. But Superman won't let them. And then Mixie comes back and says, well, actually, he was only going to be here for a little while. So time's up. And now he's gone back to Krypton, where he will die along with the rest of the Kryptonians. But that was a very powerful issue. Major kudos to Ty Templeton for that one. Now, this issue here, number 41, I thought this was a really inventive issue when this came out. So every page is a separate individual story. Sometimes with different artists as well. Darwin Cook draws one of these pages. Although there is a recurring story about Mr. Mxyzptlk trying to come back and cause Superman bother, and then he returns every 90 days. There's Darwin Cook drew the Toyman story. Mike Manley's done this Lobo one here. And I really like this one here where Mr. Mxyzptlk returns for the second time while Superman is in Gotham. And rather than trying to deal with Mxyzptlk, Superman just sicks Batman on him. And it doesn't take much for Mixie to just quit and leave. And there's the Darwin Cook Toyman story, which it's always a treat getting some Darwin Cook artwork, the late Darwin Cook. Tremendous artist, made great contributions to the DC animated universe as well. But yeah, there are a couple of things in these stories. So this one's written by Mark Evanier, who was, I believe Mark Evanier was Jack Kirby's assistant. Yeah, that's probably why he's writing a Mr. Miracle story. I need to read this one a bit more closely because it's been a long time since I've read most of these. But that's one of the things I appreciate about these comic books is that they get to go in and expand on things that the shows didn't really have the time to get to. So like Mr. Miracle, he was visible in the background of one episode at the end of Apocalypse Now, Part 2. And then he didn't appear again until The Ties That Bind in Justice League Unlimited. But here we've got a full story with him and his origin and Granny Goodness. And oh my god, Mr. They said Mr. Mixes Piddly then. Mr. Miracle actually gets to perform his death-defying stunt for an audience. And that's one of the things that I really loved about the original Jack Kirby comics, in that almost every issue opened with Mr. Miracle trying out a new deadly stunt ahead of their big show that they were just about to put on. But the problem was, in the 19 or so issues that the series ran, they never got to put on their show. Something always came up, and I always found that like really funny. But here he is. He's doing his death-defying escape. And it's written by one of Jack Kirby's assistants, so it's about as authentic a Mr. Miracle story as you can get. Lovely stuff. Let's see. I mean, look, I'm only like a third of the way through this, 385 pages, and there's already so much great stuff in here. Oh, another Toyman story. I've got the temptation I have when doing this kind of video, where I'm just scrolling through a book, is I want to sit there and read it. That's the real problem. But I have to resist temptation, because that's not going to be very interesting for you, is it? I will say that as the series progressed, sort of shortly after Mark Miller left, I think the quality, it didn't dip. I would know saying it dipped would be too harsh, but there's it became a bit uneven. I'll put it that way. A bit uneven. There were still some really good stories in here. Oh, look, another Mr. Miracle story. Excellent. Another one that I have to read. I'm going to have to read them all again, but that one in particular. But there are stories that, as I mentioned earlier, were written by people that worked on the show. Where is it? I think it's near the end, actually. There's one that essentially it involves the rehabilitation of Livewire. I'm just going to keep skipping ahead now. Oh, yeah, crossover with Batman Beyond as well. How could I forget that? Oh, yes, yes, yes. This is my jam. I've got all of these issues. I've had them for, oh, look at this page. Oh my God. Just look at that. Wonderful. I've had all of the issues for years. Many of them I bought when they first came out. But just having this big, handy collection is just so convenient and tremendous. It also means that these issues will finally be available again on the DC Infinite app, which has been a frustration for me, to be honest, trying to find comics. I ended up buying them all digitally as well, so I could just access them whenever I wanted. But yeah, these are the rehabilitation of Livewire stories written by Evan Dorkin and Sarah Dyer, who wrote for Superman the Animated Series. So this is, look at that. That is just like a pure Jack Kirby inspired panel right there. Some weird phallic gun with loads of veins coming off of it and Kirby crackle going all around it. People shackled up in chains. Livewire's in there as well. Look at that Kirby crackle right there. Oh, this is the good stuff. But yeah, this story kind of famously rehabilitated Livewire. She ended up losing her powers for like 2 pages and then got struck by lightning and got them back, which, okay, is a little contrived, but, you know, it was like the last issue of the series, and you got this lovely full page splash here. So yeah, this is basically what you get for your however much this cost. I can't remember now. I paid about £50 for it, so that's probably like, it'll say on here, won't it? It is $60. $60 for nearly 1,000 pages of beautiful Superman the Animated Series material. I think I've talked enough about this. Hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. I'm sure most of you don't, but hey, I'll keep doing them so long as you keep watching them. All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.